Today I'm building a custom LED wall decoration for my bathroom. And if everything goes according to plan, it'll look like something you'd buy from a fancy home decor store for way too much money. If things don't go according to plan, it'll become an expensive reminder hanging on my wall forever. Either way, we're cutting wood with lasers, playing with LEDs, and covering everything in moss. Let's build it. The idea is pretty simple: a round wall decoration with mountains, trees, moss, and hidden lighting. Basically the kind of thing that makes people say, wow, that's beautiful, without realizing it's mostly MDF and questionable decisions. I start by drawing the front layer. The mountain silhouette, the forest, the moon. All the peaceful nature stuff people enjoy looking at, without actually having to go outside. Once the design is finished, it's time to start cutting. The front layer is cut from black MDF. This is the part everyone will see. So naturally there's absolutely no pressure to get it right. A few minutes later the mountains and trees start appearing. And honestly, this is one of the most satisfying parts of laser cutting. You spend half an hour staring at lines on a screen. Then suddenly you're holding an actual object. Next I cut the round back panel, not the most exciting piece. But without it this entire project would basically be modern art on the floor. RDWorks. Now it's time to create the frame that gives this decoration its depth. The plan is simple: take 4 layers of 6mm plywood, cut them into sections, glue everything together, and pretend I knew exactly what I was doing from the beginning. Instead of cutting full circles, I split everything into smaller segments, mostly to save material, because plywood prices have somehow become more expensive than some cryptocurrencies. And also because every laser owner suffers from the exact same condition. Throwing away perfectly good scraps feels physically painful. So instead of wasting material, I create a giant collection of future projects that will most likely spend the next 5 years sitting on a shelf, waiting for their moment, which will never come. As the laser cuts through sheet after sheet, the pile of parts keeps growing. And for anyone watching who doesn't own a laser cutter, this is the stage where things stop looking like random pieces of wood and start looking like an expensive mistake. Before assembly, I cut a few reinforcement pieces behind the mountains, because the last thing I want is to finish this project, hang it on the wall, walk away feeling proud, and then hear a loud crash 20 minutes later. I've had enough character building experiences already. Now comes the assembly phase, or as I like to call it, the point where you discover whether your measurements were accurate or merely optimistic, one section at a time. The frame starts taking shape. Layer 1, Layer 2, Layer 3, Layer 4. At this point I'm basically building a luxury plywood cake. The only difference is that this one tastes significantly worse. And while the glue starts curing, I begin developing that special woodworking skill. Standing next to something for 10 minutes, staring at it, as if that somehow makes it dry faster. Eventually everything is locked together, and for the first time, it actually starts looking like something people might willingly hang on a wall. With the frame assembled, the edges still look like several separate pieces glued together, which unfortunately is exactly what they are. So out comes the wood filler. The goal here is simple: convince everyone this was expertly crafted and absolutely not assembled from dozens of individual pieces while listening to YouTube videos at 1.5x speed. Once the filler dries, it's sanding time. And today we're doing it manually, by hand. Like some kind of medieval craftsman, every few minutes I remember that power sanders exist. And every few minutes I regret not using one. By the end my arm is completely exhausted, which means the sanding worked. Or I've accidentally invented woodworking CrossFit. Honestly, I'm not sure which one happened first. With everything smooth and ready, I paint the entire thing black. Inside, outside, every visible surface. Black paint has a magical ability. It instantly makes almost anything look more expensive. Now comes the part I've been looking forward to the entire build, lights. Because let's be honest, you can add LEDs to almost anything and instantly gain at least 30% more coolness. The plan is simple, 2 LED strips around the outer frame, and 1 strip behind the mountain layer, to create that nice glowing effect. At least that's what should happen in theory. In reality, we're about to find out. I start attaching the LED strips around the frame, trying to keep everything neat, professional, and somewhat organized, which is difficult when LED strips have the same survival instincts as a frightened snake. Every time I stick one section down, another section immediately tries to escape, to secure everything permanently. I'm using a hot glue gun from Temu, which is always exciting. Because every Temu tool comes with a tiny mystery. Will it work perfectly? Will it break instantly? Or will it unlock a brand new category of problems nobody has ever seen before? Fortunately, today's experiment goes surprisingly well. Now it's time for the artificial moss, and this is where the project suddenly levels up. Until now it mostly looked like a black wooden box, a reasonably attractive black wooden box. But still a box, the moss completely changes that. Piece by piece, I start filling the interior, trying to create a natural landscape, without accidentally creating a habitat for imaginary woodland creatures. One advantage of artificial moss, it doesn't need water, sunlight, attention, or emotional support. Unlike most houseplants I've owned, the best part is that the moss also hides a lot of things. Small gaps, construction details, questionable decisions. The more moss I add, the more professional everything starts looking. It's basically nature's version of Photoshop. With the moss installed, it's finally time to attach the front panel. This is the point where all the separate pieces become one finished project. The mountain silhouette goes into place. The frame disappears, the lighting gets hidden, and suddenly it starts looking exactly like the image I had in my head, which almost never happens, to keep everything pressed together while the glue dries. I grab some gym weights and place them on top. This might actually be the most useful thing they've done all year. Now comes my favorite part of every electronics project, the panic test, because at this point I've glued everything together, hidden all the wiring, covered half the interior with moss, and generally made future repairs as difficult as possible. So naturally, now is the perfect time to check if it still works. And it works. First try. No sparks, no smoke, no mysterious burning smell. It's time to install the decoration. I grab my Kawasaki drill, which sounds less like a power tool, and more like something that should be racing around a motocross track. A few holes later, the decoration goes onto the wall. Power gets connected. Everything gets positioned exactly where I want it. And finally, I add the last pieces of moss around the top section. This hides the wiring, the LEDs, and all evidence of how this thing actually works, which is exactly how good decoration should operate. If people can see the electronics, they ask technical questions. If people see moss, they just say wow. And that's the finished result. A custom illuminated moss wall decoration built entirely from scratch. Not bad for a pile of MDF, plywood, and questionable optimism. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It's completely free, unlike the MDF, the LEDs, the moss, the paint, the glue, or my electricity bill. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.